doing interviews. You'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready. This is the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas. I am very excited about my guest today. It's something we never talked about on the show, but I'm really excited to have her. I think it's important, and I want to talk about it. I think it's fun, and I think a lot of people will be interested. So I have the lovely Miss Katie Nystrom from Nature's Fallen. So hi, Katie. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. And I'm so very excited to have you today. And like I said, I'd never really talked about it. Personally, I'm kind of ignorant on a lot of it, so I really want to get into it. So why don't you tell people about yourself and about your business?
So during COVID, I started a taxidermy business.
Mm-hmm.
I took a few classes online because we couldn't do in-person classes at the time. And my industry had stopped. I was in the music industry touring with bands for 13 years.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, well, what do I spend all my time on? And I collected oddities and taxidermy from all over the world. So I was like, well, instead of using all my money to buy these things, why don't I try and learn how to do it myself? And so I took a bird class at first because I thought mammals might be a little too hard to handle at first. And I fell in love with it and was surprisingly good at it. And especially because I had no training in art or sculpture or clay or anything like that. And that's what a lot of it is based around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started that and then didn't do anything with it. And then a lady, her name is Alice Markham. She works for the LA History Museum.
Oh, wow.
And she does a bunch of the taxidermy and dioramas there. And I've taken a bunch of classes with her, actually one in a castle in Italy where we were there for 2 weeks and learned how to do
amazing.
it. Yeah, it was actually incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I've done it full time for the past few years and it's really enjoyable, which is strange to say, but it is.
No, I think it's really amazing. And like I said, honestly, I don't really know much about it. But I was looking at your website and stuff, and it really was so fascinating. And I think for a lot of people, and it's not for everyone, but that's okay. If you don't like it, you don't need to be involved with it. But I think for a lot of people, it can be a really special thing for them. And I mean, and you do pets, you do trophy hunt. I mean, you do everything. So I mean, it's just. It kind of has everyone interested, and I think that's what's so special about it, that you do cover everything.
Yeah, it's definitely, a lot of people have ethical problems with it, but most everything, like pets, it's to do memorials and keep their memory and their alive and their owners help them grieve, and that is an amazing way to do that. But also on the hunting aspect, like some of these hunters, they share their stories with me, and I personally am not a hunter.
Right.
But they'll wait 12 years to get a tag, and they have to pay for that, and they have to pay to process the meat. They eat everything that they kill, and they're using more of the animal as the trophy and art piece. And so honestly, like, it's more ethical than just going to a store and buying
100%.
meat.
Yeah. No, I really just think it's amazing. And I'm so glad you started this. And actually, it's gotten recently a lot of attention on TikTok, too. I think that's so cool. You just started a TikTok page.
Wow. I've never had TikTok before. And after it shut down for the 12 hours or whatever happened.
Scariest 12 hours of my life.
I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just do it. So I took exactly the same post that I did on Instagram showing the work that I've done and put it up there, and I'm at 12.5 million views on one photo so far with 1 million likes, and I guess it's like been a week, so it's pretty wild. It's blown up way more than I ever thought it could.
No, and I'm hoping it'll bring a lot of attention to your business and stuff. And like I said, I really think people don't really know all their options and stuff when their pets do pass. And I think this is just such a great way to remember them. And you also even offer cremation, correct?
I do use a local company to do the cremation. I don't do it at my studio.
Gotcha.
But they have a beautiful facility where I take them and it gets done.
Yeah, no, it's just, I think it's really so special. And I think it can help a lot of pet parents because, for people, of course, your baby's your baby, like a human baby, but for people, they don't have babies, and their animals are their babies. And when you lose them, I just recently lost a dog that was 19 years old, and it was horrible. I've had him since I was 7, and it was just like, oh my goodness. So I think it's so special that you offer this, and if people want, they can have the memories of their pets like that. And you offer all different ways for the pet, correct?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different options. It's not like you have to have your cat in its original form.
Right.
I can do just the paws. I do paw prints. I actually have done a pillow just made out of the fur. So if you want to have it and cuddle on it, whatever you need to get you past the hard times in life. Because I understand I have 3 animals at home, 2 dogs and a cat, and my cat is 13, and he has a lot of health problems, kidney disease, and he's been my life support for his whole entire life, and been there with me through the hardest parts more than my friends or family. And so it's hard to let go of them when that time comes.
Of course. No, I just think it's really beautiful, and I think it's so cool that you do offer it for pets, and a lot of people don't even think about it. So I'm hoping, like you said, with your TikTok going viral and just doing this and sharing the word, I think it will be really special for a lot of people that they know they have this option now, and I hope you get a lot of attention towards your business.
Yeah.
And so you've been doing this for a bit now. Is there like any particular story maybe that like really was special to you, or?
Trying to think. Honestly, I don't have like a main story that is the closest, but I guess the funniest story is when I decided I was going to go to Italy to take these classes to learn how to do it. I was so torn back and forth, and those Zoltar machines, like the one from Big?
Yes.
So I am obsessed with them, and every time I see one, I go and buy one. And the one that I got at the time that I was weighing my options about this trip, it said like, a ship at sea is not serving its purpose, and there's a trip that you've been thinking about, and it'll bring great connections to your life. And so the next day I actually bought my flight and everything for this trip. But yeah.
So it was like a sign.
It was, which is so ridiculous, Zoltar machines. But I mean, what are the chances that I pulled that ticket? But
that's so funny. Well, that's great. I'm glad, and it got you here now.
It did, yeah.
And so you've taken a bunch of classes, you said. So what was the one like in Italy? Like, so it was in the castle. Was it all like it was different type of animals? Like, how does that all work?
Yeah, so it was in a castle in the middle of nowhere of Italy. Like, there was honestly, like, the town we were in, I think maybe 10 people lived there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was in an old nun convent.
Wow.
And so there was a small group of us, and the first week was birds, and then the second week was mammals.
Oh, okay.
And so actually the first week they went to a farm where they raise quail for like feeding people. Yeah. And so our teacher like went and picked the ones that we were going to use for the class. Mm-hmm. We brought it there, and once we opened them up, and we actually harvested all the meat, and then the chef cooked it all, so nothing was wasted.
Wow.
And I try and do that a lot with everything I do here still. Like when hunters bring me deer and elk, I try and save as much as the meat that I'm removing that they haven't already kept from the butcher, and I feed it to my dogs to give them raw food. I give them the bones, so I try and not waste anything that I can. But so it was pretty cool. So we had like a tagline that it was like farm to table to taxidermy. So
that's good.
Yeah. But it was really great. It was a really cool experience. And she still does a lot of classes, and I still go because there's new things that I can learn all the time.
Of course, yeah.
So,
well, I think that's cool too, that it shows you're always trying to better yourself in your craft and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not the best.
I don't know. The more I can learn, the better. I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I think you're pretty dang good. Is there like a particular type of animal you like to do more? Like, is it like deer, or do you like doing pets more, or like does it not really matter?
I like doing the pets because it has that bond that because I like helping those people that are going through a hard time. And then the deer and mountain lions and all of those, like they're great because I actually have to work really hard on having them look correct. Like,
Yeah.
and it's a mix between science and art that is like really fascinating. All the biology and their muscle structure and everything has to be accurate underneath, especially if they have short hair. Like birds, you can fluff them out and it doesn't matter what. You could probably put like a square box inside of it and you could hide it. But anything with short hair, like you can see every muscle underneath. So it has to be pretty accurate and detailed.
And so, obviously, like, it's like you said, animals that, pretty much everyone knows, but you don't know the whole anatomy of it and stuff. So, like, do you have to, like, really research it? Like, or do you look it up online? Like, how does that whole process work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I'm given a full animal, like when I'm pulling them apart, I can see what they look like underneath. Right. And I can go actually off of their real anatomy. But if I don't, then I have to, like, go to textbooks and online references and try and find exactly what it would look like.
Yeah.
And some forms are commercial forms, so they're just pretty basic. But then also I make a lot of my forms on my own. I take pretty much like wood shavings and string and hand make them and mold them into what the insides look like.
Oh my God, that's so much work you don't even think about. But yeah. Now, so like if someone gives you an animal, how long does it usually take? I'm sure it kind of depends on the animal and stuff too, of course, but how long is it usually around?
I tell my customers around 6 months, but that just gives me time I'm actually pretty backlogged and
which is good.
Yeah, but it does take time. Everything has a process and it's a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
So you go through like the skinning process and then it has to salt and dry out. Then you have to rehydrate. Then you pickle it in acid to preserve it. And then you tan it to get it to the leather state. And each state takes a lot of time in between. And then the fun part with all the artistry of recreating and painting and making them look lifelike takes the most time and the most fun.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that you said about like the whole anatomy and stuff, because you see like there's a couple like really bad ones that go viral. The bad taxidermy,
those are the best too.
Yeah. Like even there was a lion and someone that like never saw like hundreds of years ago. Like, they never saw what a lion looked like, so they made like this, and it's still on display at museums and stuff. It's just pretty amazing.
I love that. Like when we were in Europe, we went to a bunch of the natural history museums out there, and like they're all like that. They have the old ones, and it's just like they just went off of what they thought. They had no idea.
Yeah. So. But it's cool that it's been around for so long and stuff, and I think it's kind of not that many people are doing it as much anymore. So I think that's amazing that you are doing it, and it's cool. And especially like I say, it gives you different options and stuff, and I think that's what's amazing about it. And you do offer, like you said, I was reading your website, like the pillows, there's so many different things. So whatever people feel better, they have the opportunity to do.
Yeah, it's a really small niche market, and it's obviously not for everyone, right? And that's understandable. Which is fine. Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah. But I do love it, and when I started collecting just taxidermy and oddities, everyone would make fun of me. They're like, "You're like a big white trucker man," and I was like, "Yeah, but it's awesome. Like I've always been in male-dominated industries, and I like being." The odd one out and all of that. And it's cool. Got like the people that help me and are my mentors in this industry are all women. And I think that's is great. Like the best part. I mean, there's a lot of good guys out there too, but
of course
it's fun being a girl in a male industry. Yeah, and kicking ass.
I like it, girl power. Mm-hmm. But no, I do, because like even my mom, she carries my grandpa's ashes in like a necklace around her neck, and people, you would always be like, "That's so weird. Why would you do that? That's disgusting." And she's like, it's fine if it's not your thing, but it makes me feel better, and it makes me feel like I have him with me always. So, everyone has their own thoughts, and that's fine, but it doesn't matter. It's not harming you. If this is what helps someone with it and get through the process, because it's a horrible loss to some people, So if that's what makes people feel better, or like you said, I think most hunters, of course, there's bad hunters and stuff. There's bad people everywhere, but most hunters really think about I'm not a hunter either, but they really think about it. A lot of my cousins and stuff are into hunting, and I know, like you said, they use every part of the meat and stuff. So, whatever, if it's not your thing, that's totally fine. But I think this is so helpful for a lot of people, and a lot of people will really want this and know that it's a woman in Vegas, which is great. And I think it's an amazing opportunity for people.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you think about it, like a whole elk can feed a family for almost the entire year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, especially with the lack of food options now, like especially healthy ones.
No, it's so true. And it's just getting worse and worse every day. So, no, I really think it's amazing that you're doing this. I'm so excited. I think it's so cool that you started off with like doing an online class just because you were always interested, and now it turned into this whole business where you're always taking classes and bettering yourself. I think it's a really great thing.
Thanks.
Yeah, and do you still do? I know you said you used to like perform and stuff too. Do you still do that now that we're back out? Or
so I was in the production side of the music industry, so I worked behind the scenes of concerts and everything. But yeah, I still do that too.
Yes, you do that. That's awesome. That's so. I'm not a singer by any means or anything in there, but I always love that. That's cool. I love the whole performance.
Yeah, I've done a few residencies here, but yeah, toured all over the world.
That's cool,
and it's been an amazing experience too.
Good. And I'm glad you're getting your following on TikTok too. And I think you could. With that, I always tell everyone that's on the show and stuff that they don't have TikTok, I'm like, get a TikTok, because it, people find their own communities on there and stuff. And like you said, it is more of a niche group, but when they find you and stuff, I think they can really follow you. And I think it can even bring a lot of attention to it and all the amazing parts of taxidermy and stuff. So I think it will really help your business grow even more, even though you're so backlogged already, but hopefully you'll get even more backlogged. I never knew it
was going to do anything. Like, I started my social media and I have maybe 100 followers on Instagram. I was like, I wasn't expecting much because it is like such a weird thing that a lot of people aren't into. And I don't like, it's a small community, so I'd never thought it would go anywhere. But yeah, we'll see what happens next. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be even bigger and better. And it sounds like you're already doing well, but hopefully you'll just continue to grow.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on. Where can people get in contact with you? How do they like get the taxidermy? How does everyone get to do that?
Oh yeah. I have my website, naturesfallen.com. Okay. Also same under Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So
perfect. Yeah. It's nice and easy then.
Yes, very easy.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. And so they could just go in and they contact you through there and everything?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on. It was really an honor. And I'm so excited. We love having, especially local businesses in Vegas and stuff. And I think this is really cool. And I think a lot of people really enjoy it.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if this is something you're interested in, contact her, follow her on TikTok. I think it'll be great. And support her in any way you can. But thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you. God bless.